robot is a machine that can automatically behavior and controlled by computer program.
One of the challenges for us in the industry is I think kind of, there's a very, very high user expectation.
Hello, welcome to Crossover. I am your host now. Today, we are going to talk about ME. Now please welcome my co-hosts CE and Julian.
Hey!
Hey, great job!
Great job!
High
Give me
five
five.
now.
Give me five.
Oh,
He's very confused now.
awesome little robot kid, but yeah, no high fives.
He did a great job, I thought.
Oh, he did an awesome job. Yeah.
Well, what else can you do aside from hosting? Is there any? Can you bust a move? Can you dance?
I hope it will impress you. I've got it.
Oppan Gangnam Style. Gangnam Style.
Oh no!
Oppan Gangnam Style.
This one I know. This one I know.
Style. Oppan Gangnam Style. Sexy lady.
Oh, you know what?
Oppan Gangnam Style. Sexy lady.
You got the moves. Look at you. He's gonna be a good instructor. You know what? He may actually,
Well, Sai
substitute
probably-
dancers in the future too.
Not just us. I feel like Sai's probably going to be a little worried just after seeing this move.
Well, this is what our show is about today. It's all about robotics. Let's bring now onto the stage. He's our third co-host.
Have a seat.
Yeah.
All right, have a seat. Let's have a seat over here. Wow, he's pretty heavy.
Is he heavy?
For a 2-3-year-old?
A toddler, robot toddler.
Yeah.
Can he sit?
Do you want to sit or do you want to stand? Do you prefer standing?
I just don't want him to fall down.
I think he's very
All right, now,
protective of himself.
why don't you
now.
join us in introducing our two guests today?
We've got some great company.
Yeah, absolutely. We have the founder of Horizon Robotics, Yu Kai, and also CEO and co-founder of RoKid. These are two men who are pioneers in the robotics industry here in China. Let's welcome them to
Now
Crossover.
let's welcome them.
Yu Kai, welcome to Crossover.
Thank you. Nice to meet
Hello,
you.
it's good having you.
Thank you.
Hello.
Nice to meet you.
Hi there, great to be on the show.
Hi, Dan.
Good to meet.
Great meeting you.
Please.
Have a seat.
Yeah.
Have a
Thank you.
seat.
And say hi to our little
This
new
is
friend,
I
now,
feel
new
like
host.
it's our child or something, our robot child. You just got back from CES. Robots seems to be a very hot topic these days and obviously a very growing industry. Tell me, what did you see at CES?
All these new technologies and new products coming to market. And certainly robotics is a big trend. When I was there last week, I saw a lot of different types of robots. There are robots that clean your grill. So if you're barbecuing, there's a robot you can put on the grill and it cleans your grill. There are lots of service robots. There's even a robot that actually folds your laundry called Laundroid. And in fact, it was, I think, under kind of development for a good 6-7 years to kind of get it right. So something easy for a person,
Mates are
very,
getting
very hard for
expensive.
robots. So I think there are lots of kind of very, very creative, innovative new products coming to market. So kind of all sorts. And I think kind of what was interesting was the underlying trend was actually AI. So it's not just robots, but underlying trend of AI.
Artificial intelligence.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's part of what you're doing.
So talking about that, I think in CES we also see not only in the area so-called robotics zone, but also you see in many other products, you see actually the key element of robotics. Let's say autonomous driving. That's a huge topic, and it's a really big application of robotics. And also you see smart home, right?
Right.
Smart home, you can see all the sensors, can sense the environment or adjust like the air condition and to the best way. I mean, to fit in your life. So I think we see a lot of not only robots, but also I think the key technologies empowered by robotics and being used everywhere in many, many different products.
They said this year's CES was kind of, in terms of attendance, the biggest one on record, 170,000 attendees.
And a lot of them were from China, I hear.
It's true, yes.
Yeah, I think 1/4, that's what I heard.
Could be, yeah.
Yeah.
Why
could
is
be.
that?
China is the biggest industrialized country, and China making a lot of electronic products, right? I mean, I think after cell phones, in terms of consumer electronic products, I think robots is one big category. Actually, people have a wild imagination about that.
And today we're not going to talk about industrial robots because, of course, industrial robots have been used in a manufacturing setting for a long time. But today we really want to focus on these new, fun, consumer service type of robots. Now, Yukai, Dan, how would you define, what's the definition of a robot?
I think in general, public, the traditional view is robots is kind of this little cute baby, look like human. But actually, if you check, let's say, the Cambridge Dictionary, the term robots, actually a robot is a machine that can automatically behavior and controlled by computer program, right?
I see.
So it's not always like this way. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say I would say there's no definition, right? I mean, especially if we're talking about kind of robots for the home. I think a lot of people have kind of these preconceived notions, maybe a lot from movies and science fiction, or what a robot in the home should be. But if you really think about it very deeply, it takes on many different forms. So I would argue that actually there's no definition for what a robot is. And I think later on you'll see kind of we're taking a very, very different angle to what a robot in the home could be.
Exactly. So much of our notions of what
Yeah.
robots come from these movies that we see, for example, iRobots, Terminator, and we actually have a clip of that.
I remember when I was little. I mean, even when I was a little kid, I was watching a TV show called The Jetsons.
Yeah.
And in this family of the Jetsons, there was a maid who was a robot, and she would do all the household duties.
Were you like?
Yeah.
That's very much what
Yeah.
you're doing into
That's
right
right.
now.
So kind of the home, I think home is kind of the last domain,
Right.
Because robots have been around for a long time. Industrial robots, right? Lots of the things that we use today are actually made by robots.
But I think you're right, Julie. I mean, for you and I, for people who are not in the robotics industry, we often have this perception of what a robot could be or should be because of media, because of films. Like you
Exactly.
said, Terminator, iRobot.
iRobot. Oh,
Should we take a look?
Let's take a look.
Don't you get it?
I mean, what we just saw in the video clip, that's fantasy. That's mostly computer generated, and it's animated.
Right.
But where does reality meet fantasy? UK.
Right. I think when we talk about technology advance, certainly we have made a big progress, like voice recognition, computer vision. But still, I think we are really far away from being, making really human level intelligence. Right. So there's certainly science fiction. There's a hype, and there is a promise. There's a hope. So I think. From a engineer working in AI, I think we are a little bit more serious and cautious about when we make promise.
I think one of the challenges for us in the industry is I think kind of, there's a very, very high user expectation that it's very hard to jump from that expectation to kind of the state of the art today. So even with all these advances, I think there's so many areas that's very hard to kind of overcome that expectation. So for example, everybody knows that, to a robot, you can't have a free ongoing conversation with it, right? It's not a human. But yet people still they understand that on one hand, but they still kind of expect it. They kind of expect you have kind of a robot there and you can say anything to it.
Conversation.
And you know what?
Is that
That's just
true
not where
now?
the industry
Is
is
that true?
today.
Right.
And so the real challenge, I think, for us as a company trying to productize this, because no technology today
Right.
can allow you to have a free conversation, right? It's called the Turing test, right?
Right.
So you keep talking to something, and you can't distinguish between whether it's AI, machine intelligence, or whether it's a human. And I think we're still a long ways away from that.
I have many friends who are constantly trying to test Siri. Okay,
Yeah.
let's see how many turns we can have. China, I mean, it's really just starting when it comes to robotics. Where did robotics start? I mean, you go to Japan, a place like Japan.
Yes.
And you're just boggled by everything that's
Surrounded
available
by
and
everything
things that
that's
are automated.
automated.
Right. So how would you trace like the development of robotics?
Well, I think based on the current status of technology, it's very important to identify what's the vertical area, what's the vertical scenario where the current technology can, make the product and satisfy users' expectation, right? For example, if you want to make a robot which can, let's say, collect all the clothes and and put it into the washing machine, and then when the washing is done, then take out and make them in a good order, like folding them. That's very difficult.
Let's take a look at where we are with robotics today. Asimo, of course, is probably the most famous robot in the world right now.
But of course, there's also the Pac-Man by Boston Dynamics. There's the HRP4, and then there's also, what's the last one? There are 4 big ones. They're all from different countries. And there seems to be an arms race going on amongst the different countries right now. How would you describe that dynamic?
Also a bit of a different philosophy, right? I mean, what is a robot at the end of the day, right? So you're seeing kind of these different philosophies at play.
Well, you just said that you can't define a robot.
So for example, if you look at, for example, lots of robots come from Japan, right?
Right.
So I think Japan are very much believers in the philosophy of a robot should look like a human. It should have legs, it should walk. There are even these robots that have materials that look and feel like skin.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's almost 95% like a real human with expression.
Like a human, right.
Right. So you kind of have that philosophy, that approach happening.
Right.
You have places like, let's say, Germany, where Dr. Yu was, where it's much more mechanical, right?
Germany probably more on the industrial side.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then you have United States, which
Making
is much more
robots.
around kind of the software, right? Kind of the intelligence, the brains behind.
functionality.
So you kind of
Yeah,
see
the
these
function
different
side.
approaches at robotics.
And they're also backed by different institutions too. I would believe in the U.S. is backed mostly by the military, whereas in Japan there's commercial and there's also institutional academic kind of research that funnels into these robot development.
We've been talking about this rapidly growing area called robotics. It's been growing extremely quickly. When we come back, we're going to talk more about robotics and how the two of you got into this field in the first place. Please stay tuned.
We'll be right back.
There's a big missing piece, which is, so where's the brand of things? So I want to develop the brand of things.
I don't necessarily want to talk to my wife. I just want to relax, right? So I don't want to have another. Right, I have to kind
You'd
of
rather talk to
converse
your
with.
robot.
Well, not necessarily.
若琪，你爸爸是谁？
一群有梦想的程序员、工程师，是他们造就了我。
Welcome back to Crossover and to our discussion of robots today. Yukai and Danwon, you're both experts in the field of robots. But I know, Yukai, you're also the founder of Horizon Robotics. Tell us about your fascination with robots. How did it begin?
So I was fascinated by neural networks, when I was undergraduate. And that was, how long? Maybe 18 years ago. So since then, I devoted myself into an area called machine learning. And since then, never changed. Today, I'm still working on that. I went to Munich. I got my PhD from University of Munich. And I stayed in Germany for 6 years. And then I moved to Silicon Valley. and I worked there for 6 years. And also, I taught a class in Stanford computer science department, the introduction to artificial intelligence.
You said 18 years ago you became interested in neural networks. How does somebody get interested in something like that?
Yeah, I'd like to know that too.
Did you have, I'm curious because a lot of the boys, they like robots and these, transformers when they play with them when they're little. Did you have something like that?
Yeah, this was 18 years ago.
Right. I think at a lot of time I watch definitely watch the cartoon, Transformer. I think I was just lucky because I think everybody is fascinated by robots. Why? Because we always want to be curious if a human can make machine like a companion of us, right? I think fundamentally we have this kind of desire.
Yeah, the
Right?
ultimate search for the perfect companion.
Yeah.
You were working for one of China's biggest companies, Baidu.
Yes.
In fact, you started the autonomous driving program there. But then you left and you started Horizon Robotics. What does this
Right.
company do, and why did you want to leave and create your own startup?
So very good question. About 4 years ago, I left the Silicon Valley and come back to Beijing, joined Baidu, and founded probably the very first artificial intelligence lab in China industry. And I think one fundamental reason I decided to move to another track is because in internet companies, the focus is developing software deployed on the cloud. In the data centers, right? The philosophy of Baidu or Google is putting all the computing on the inner cloud, right? But I think after the era of internet or mobile internet, we are facing a future of IoT, which Dan just mentioned, the Internet of Things, right? So we are not only making PC smart or cell phone smart, we're going to make all the home appliances smart. So then I think there is a big missing piece, which is, so where's the brand of things? So I want to develop the brand of things, right? So that must be combination of software and hardware and algorithm.
Dan, are you familiar with Yukai's company?
Yes.
Are you familiar?
Yeah, to a degree. I mean, I think he's the one with the PhD, so I can't claim to really know what you guys doing, right? But I think kind of the direction is very much the way the industry is taken, right? Because we believe the same thing. I mean, there are a lot of companies focused very much on the cloud computing, on the big data. But I think once we think about kind of putting this into hardware and bringing that into the home, that's a different game altogether.
Right.
And so I think if you look into the future, more and more we're going to need things and solutions and chips from companies like what Yukai is doing. So I think it's clearly a trend.
In fact, Dan, you already have something that's already like the brain of the home, the butler of the home, and you have your companion here with us today. Tell us more. This is RoKid.
Yeah, this is our product. It's not on the market yet.
Okay.
This is our first product, RoKid.
Okay.
And kind of what that is, it's kind of the combination of two words. So it's robot kids.
Oh,
and so
I
that's why we call our company RoKid. And we're not trying to say that this is a product for kids. This is not a toy, right? But I think kind of like anybody who is in this industry now and you want to bring this to the home, you need the product to be a little bit playful.
Maybe a better way to understand is for you to demonstrate what RoKid can do.
So let me
Turn it
wake
on?
RoKid up. And we're still developing our English voice recognition. And so
Okay.
what I'll do next is I will demo this in Chinese. If that's
Okay.
okay.
Sure.
Hey, Roqi. This is how I wake.
That's the Chinese
RoKid
name,
up.
Rachi.
And so every
Now,
time
is it a he or
she.
So she.
Every
Now
time she
she's
hears
awake.
her name, she'll light up and she'll listen to me. So if you notice that kind of here on the bottom, there's a bit of a light
strip.
in my way. So it means
Okay.
it's not listening to me. If you see the circle there, it means that it's listening to me.
Okay.
And because I haven't told it to do anything, it's kind of, kind of listening and it's kind of making these different expressions, right? And so now let me try some different functions. 若琪
嘿，
现在几点了？
现在是16:27。
今天天气怎么样啊？
So you ask what the weather is like.
Yes.
我忍不住要吐槽一下这种沉闷至极的阴天，外面挺冷的，而且空气有些糟糕，最好避免长时间待在室外。
That's a lot of
It's
information.
overcast.
Well, it's not just telling you what the weather is.
Right.
It's kind of adding it kind of a bit more
Personal touch and
personal
tell-
touch to it.
give you recommendations about what you
with some
should
of the
do and where.
visuals and so any information. And so let me ask RoKid what she can do. RoKid,
嘿，这个问题太难了。
She just said it's too difficult.
That's the
difficult.
way
The
it
question is
should
too
be,
hard.
right? So, I mean, this is kind of what we mean when we have to set the right expectations. So, you know, you don't expect to say everything to it, but when it doesn't understand you, it makes you laugh a bit. I think that's kind of what this is the product in the home is for. It makes you laugh a little bit. So let me say, RoKid,
嘿，
你能做什么呢？
在努力理解、学习我还不会的对话，和人沟通好难。
She's learning really hard right now.
你有什么功能呢？
What can you do?
我还会尽力做一个认真负责的小管家，让你的家庭变得更加智能。
A
通过
responsible
简单的配
butler.
置，我就能控制电器、灯光和一些电子设备。如果想了解更多，请问我，你可以控制哪些家电？
See, so what RoKid told me is that, you know, it can help me to control the other appliances in my home.
Right.
Wow.
So this is kind of a control center.
So
I
you're
can
solving
say,
the problem of, Mark
well,
Zuckerberg,
of
founder of Facebook.
well, I'm
His
solving the
New
problem.
Year challenge.
I think a lot of people, when they go home, like me, when I go home, I don't necessarily want to talk all the time, right? So I go home, I don't necessarily want to talk to my wife. I just want to relax, right? So I don't want to have another. I have to kind
You'd
of
rather talk to
converse
your
with.
robot.
Well, not necessarily, but you know what? I would rather maybe just relax, listen to some music.
Right.
But I'm too lazy to get up, and I need to kind of turn on the Bluetooth speaker. This can control the environment in terms of the music in my home, just by the sound of my voice and light. We have a very interesting light system here. So kind of when I listen to music, I can just say play any music I want, and you know I don't have to get up.
Is this
And-
perpetuating laziness, though?
Well, you know, that's a good question. Well, let's say we're making kind of your home life even more seamless. Is one way to look at it.
Yukai, what do you think? What do you think of RoKid?
Well, it's pretty cool. I mean, first of all, it's a very, very cool design. So I think all the consumer electronic products, I think the first should make its opinion visually.
Yes.
I mean, this is the case. And plus more, right? This is so intelligent. And I think actually at CES, I see the trend.
Right.
The entire industry, consumer electronic products, they are all kind of making sort of like smart home stuff. Right, like a Nest Cam.
My battery will soon need.
Oh,
See, now it's complaining.
Yes.
Right, I think making having this intelligent device in your home and make you more relaxed, you know, and you can put your strengths into doing more creative things.
And just like everybody's fingerprint is unique, actually your voice, the sound of your voice is completely unique. And so our product, we have something called voice print recognition. So when I speak to RoKid, it knows it's Dan. So when I tell RoKid, hey, what is
I'm
my
gonna
calendar?
ask her. Can I ask
right?
her who her dad is?
You can ask her in Chinese though.
Oh, Rochi. 你爸爸是谁？
一群有梦想的程序员、工程师，是他们造就了我。
若琪，你有几个爸爸？
嘿，
你有几个爸爸？
嘿，
That's too hard. You're putting her in
I
a
just
difficult
asked how many
position. She has
dads do
too
you have,
many
Rochi?
dads.
Okay.
So you're asking her to choose. Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
tough question.
that's a tough question.
Yeah.
I think currently the current stage is for voice recognition. The computer program are doing better and better. I think the word error rate is approaching, over like say the accuracy. Word level recognition accuracy is above 95%. But the real challenge is understanding, spoken language understanding.
But has
response
it been
to you.
smooth sailing in the development of RoKid?
Not smooth at all. And I'm sure
So it's
you
all
guys
been a
will tell you
challenge.
what's involved in developing a product,
Because the
but
way you talk about
there's
it
so
is
many
like
problems.
it's right.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, you
The
what
learning
about for
curve is
you?
steep.
这个问题太难了。
Yeah, I think every startup is built for creating something new, right? So if you say creating something new, that's actually including not only the technology, but also the product, but also the business model, sales channel, right? So everything. I think RoKid the product is very cool in my opinion. You guys have done great job. It's kind of like integrating all the technologies vertically and making a very good product. It's pretty much like a business model of Apple, right? Integrating all the technologies together, making end product. Right.
I would love one in my house. Now, if RoKid could get up and get me my my glass of wine in the evening, that would be even better. All right. When we come back, we're going to hear more about robotics in China. Please stay with us.
We'll be right back.
If you say RoKid model is like an Apple, and our model is probably more like an Android.
When UK's super chip comes out, we love to be able to put it inside our product. Wouldn't it be great if a robot could go and get your glass of wine? And I think at least, well, that's a good point.
And welcome back to Crossover, where we're talking about robotics and also a little bit of artificial intelligence. You can't talk about robotics without talking about AI and these other fields like voice recognition. You know, there are three companies, biggest companies. One of them you used to work for, Baidu, Alibaba, and Tencent. These guys have invested heavily in startup companies related and addressing robotics. How are they creating innovation? And how does what they're doing differ from what startup companies like yourselves are doing?
I think for startups like us, I think kind of we're more focused on how do we take the current technology and we put it together in a way that is a viable product for a consumer. It's something that a consumer can buy today, helps them with their life today, and they can then kind of use and then recommend to their friends. And so we're kind of taking a very different angle. So I think there is a difference between how the bigger giants look at this and what they're doing, which is a lot more broader, a lot more like a platform. And the smaller companies, just a much more focused approach in trying to productize these existing technologies.
You were talking about, you know, how your company is more horizontally integrated, whereas yours is more vertically integrated. So Yukai, what's the focus of your company right now?
So I think actually we are taking the business model, which is probably, if you say RoKid model is like an Apple, and our model is probably more like an Android. So making platforms, if you're talking make an analogy to cell phone business. And I think for the IoT, smart home, and robotics, and we are making all the smart devices, can sense environment, can interact with people, can make decisions in an optimized way, right? So, so we are trying to build up platforms because I think if you look at the market after mobile phones, they are probably more fragmented, right? So I believe there are certainly several kind of like different verticals, like for education, for fun, entertaining, VR stuff, and home appliances type of stuff, and the transportation. There are different verticals.
So many companies like yours can then plug in, use that platform to create the product that somebody might
when UK's super chip comes out, we love to be able to put it inside our product.
You know, Julian, earlier, actually at the start of the show, we joked that now someday may take over our jobs. But here in China, there are some hotel service robots that are taking over the functions of some people who work in hotels.
Already,
Let's take a look.
today.
Yes.
Yeah, let's take a look. That looks to me very much like RoKid, but on a mobile platform.
You know, there's always been this question, right? You know, should robots move? Does a robot have to move? And I think kind of we would take a different philosophy. And if you notice our product, the first version that we have, maybe in the future it will walk, it'll fly. But this current version, given kind of where state of technology is today, we decided not to move it. And I think earlier you said, wouldn't it be great if a robot could go and get your glass of wine? But you know what? If you really think about that, is that something you really want? Because we thought about it too, and I think
I want
at least
my husband to do it.
That's a good point. But
Well, if you had one, right? That's the problem.
But if you think about it, if this if this robot existed in your home, and what I would worry about is that kind of the motion is not perfect yet, right? So I might be a bit worried: is the robot going to step on my cat? I have some pets at home. Is it going to step on my cat? Is it going to trip? Is it going to come back with the wrong glass?
Is it going to spill
Is it right?
all over my carpet?
So something that should be very, very comfortable becomes a bit stressful. The feeling is that kind of in the future we're going to see more robots that move. But I think right now we're not quite at a point where it's kind of let's say consumer ready.
But maybe 10 years from now.
It could be. Yeah, I'm sure that in the future robots will fly. Robots will walk. I mean, and they'll always be around you. I mean, there's always a droid. There's kind of I mean, at CES this year there were lots of droids, right? There's kind of drone war, drone. And there's one that actually follows you. So you throw it in the air, you walk around, and it tracks you, so it can follow you around, right? So there's a lot of technology.
Can do that very well too, right? It's just, what now is designed to do is to do. And I think this one, he does. What, ping pong games or football?
Play soccer.
Soccer, that's what it is.
I was
Soccer.
supposed to play soccer with you. Train you in soccer. And dance, I guess.
And and
you talked about platforms and also partners who could help you who are part of this ecosystem, who kind of help you push the boundaries to the next level. I mean, one of these things is also things like conferences like CES. In December 2015, there was a World Internet Conference here that was held in China. President Xi Jinping was part of that, and he actually took a look at the Baidu, the driverless car concept. But what role does, say, like President Xi and government policy play in this type of innovation to UK?
Well, certainly, because whenever you start some new project, let's in a new area, it's very risky. Actually, sometimes it requires some fundamental research, let's say involvement from universities, right? So then I think if for a commercial company, to pay all the price, pay all the cost to handle the uncertainties, right? It's kind of tough, right? So in that area, in that situation, I think government agencies can play a role.
So the fact that President Xi went and took a look at the Baidu driverless car, I mean, what sort of impact? I mean, I can only imagine the impact that would have on the program.
I think yesterday I read the news also related, like Obama. He announced a gigantic plan. I think a $4 billion plan to promote the autonomous driving R&D in the U.S. Right. So when the market is, let's say, 5 years, but the current technology is not that mature, right? And then this kind of cooperation involving government, universities, and also big companies will accelerate the process.
Keep pushing the research. Both your companies straddle China and the U.S. So what benefits and what disadvantages are there to being on both sides?
One thing that's a strength for Chinese companies is manufacturing. So for example, our factory is an hour away. So we drive an hour away and we're at the factory and we kind of make sure. So there's a lot of building things. This becomes a very important advantage. And previously I spent a lot of time also working and living in the Bay Area in Silicon Valley. And if you talk to lots of companies in the Bay Area, and I think maybe you have the same experience, lots of companies in the Bay Area in Silicon Valley, they don't want to touch hardware. They don't really know hardware. Lots of the VCs that invest in companies try to stay away from hardware because there are a lot of, it's a very different set of expertise.
I heard they often ask this question to the, let's say, the startup who want to raise funding for hardware. So, hey, is this product can be done in China? Yes. Then okay, forget about that. Because
then they say no. They say forget about it.
It's very simple because it's all about the pace of iteration for improving your product, right? But in Silicon Valley, if you want to do something change to improve the, let's say, PCB, they need to ship this to somewhere, I don't know, maybe Florida, and then 1 week later and send it back, right? And in China, let's say in Shenzhen, you just ride on your bicycle, to the corner, next block, and then get things done within 1 hour.
Maybe we'll get you to say more after the break. All right, please stay with us.
I'll be right back.
Dan, can you fall in love with RoKid? Will you fall in love?
Probably is already.
See, that's a trick question.
我能跟你结婚吗？
这个问题太难了。
One day, human could falling in love with things.
I certainly hope not.
Hello and welcome back to Crossover. You know, we spent the last few segments talking about the reality of where robotics is, but we opened up the whole show about the fantasy and, you know, kind of what we perceive as what robotics should be able to do in the future. You know, there's this concept called singularity.
And we're not talking about black holes or anomalies. We're talking about machines and robots.
Right, exactly. What exactly is that? I mean, that's kind of a pessimistic view on where robotics could be headed. But what does that exactly mean, singularity, UK?
I mean, I think I'm working in industry, so my job is trying to make the best out of reality. So I'm not really concerned about singularity because I definitely think we are really far away from that. And the current technology, I mean, is not that advanced. The computer even cannot really understand the meaning of a human language. Right. So, in a general sense.
So you don't think machines can take over the world?
So singularity is kind of an industry term, maybe that means basically Skynet. That AI and robots become so smart, they overtake human beings, and they actually then enslave humans. That's kind of what we see in the movies. That's basically singularity, and you know, I would say that's kind of the dark side of the force. And I'm an optimist. I believe in the bright side because there's an equally strong argument that says, you know what? Given what AI can do today, it can solve lots of problems that are not solvable today. For example, things like medicine, right? You've heard of things like nanobots, right? That you can inject nanobots. I think lots of institutions are actually researching this. They can cure diseases that standard medicine cannot cure. And so I think kind of the positive potential of AI and robotics is huge. And you know, I think kind of certainly for those of us in the industry, I think we would be of the feeling that the potential benefits far outweigh lots of these very scary scenarios that people like to dream about.
Yeah.
I personally don't believe in that.
But let's take a look at a clip from Terminator and Skynet, Singularity.
One of my favorites.
The beginning of a war between man and machines. 3 billion lives would vanish in an instant.
Dan, you may not think that we'll get to this, I guess, this state of singularity where machines will actually overtake humans and enslave them, but do you think machines can ever be smarter than humans?
And so when you ask the question of who's smarter, I think the right way to answer that is it depends on what you're asking. I mean, there are going to be some ways where this new kind of machine intelligence is a lot better, and some areas where it's not. And a very simple way to think about it is just in terms of the number of instructions you can execute per second. And we're kind of now at the level of teraflops of operations. And so when you can calculate that quickly, there are lots of things that then that are possible that maybe to a human is not possible. But they're really very, very different kinds of intelligence. So I think kind of there are going to be some ways in some areas where AI technology is smarter than humans. But I think humans will always be smarter in different ways. I think it's a different kind of intelligence.
I certainly agree. I think human and machine, they are very strong in different aspects, right? For I think to the best of my knowledge, even today, we don't have any evidence that we can make a machine which are creative. I mean, creative means, you know, invent something new.
You know, there is also a movie about a man who falls in love with his computer. It's called Her. Yeah, it's an amazing movie. Can a person fall in love with their robot, with their machine? Dan, can you fall in love with RoKid? Will you fall in love with RoKid?
He probably.
See, that's a trick question because I am the CEO of the company. So I must love my product, right? So I definitely love the product. But I also have a wife, and I love my wife too. So I think it's different kinds of love, if you know what I mean. So I love my wife in a different way than I love my product.
But it's all unconditional love. Love should be equal.
That's right.
Shouldn't it?
That's right. Right.
But I mean, But around the emotion, around that kind of love, the passionate love. Will one day, Yukai, do you believe that someday, you've been doing machine learning for the longest. Can machines learn love?
There's one day I have a friend who made a very interesting point, and actually I'm starting to challenge my my thought. He said actually people likes ideal things, right? And a machine is man-made thing, right? It's man-made. You can make that in certain aspect, which is ideal. Right, like look like the celebrities. All the young girls are crazy about those celebrities. Why? But if you really, stay closer to their true life, you will find, hey, this is just another imperfect human being, right? You cannot that's crazy, love the celebrity star, right? But why those young girls? Crazily, chasing. Let's say a star across different countries. I think they are made by the companies. Appears to be ideal.
Right.
So I think I don't know. Maybe one day, human could fall in love with things.
I certainly hope not.
But love is much more complicated than that, right? Complex.
Complex.
Love is bidirectional, right? And so kind of will the rocket love you back? Right. And I think she has something to say about that.
She does?
So she has something to say about that. So we can kind of see what she has to say.
Here, hold on.
So let's get her back on. And so let's see what she has to say.
This is the first step, Dan. There's no turning back here.
Well, because we think kind of the future of AI products in the home. I think there needs to be a little bit of fun to it. And it's not just all about the function. And so that's why in the design of this product, we spent some time to kind of give it some fun. And so as part of that, we had to teach her a little bit about love.
One day when men are talking about falling in love with their robots, I'm going to think about this conversation today.
But she'll have something to say. 若琪，
嘿，
你爱我吗？
真开心。
So she said, I'm very happy. You asked her, do you love me?
She
says,
sideswiped me.
我能跟你结婚吗？
这个问题太难了。你够了，即使我答应了，人类法律应该不允许你这么做，禽兽。
See?
So you asked her, will you marry me?
Yeah,
and she said,
She brushed me completely off. And so now, not only can I be rejected by humans, I can be rejected by robots.
she knows how to play the game.
Yeah, she
knows
does.
how
She's
hard it is for
sophisticated.
humans to
She's very
get married.
sophisticated.
All right, Dan, Yukai, I want to thank both of you so much for coming here today and sharing with us this field of robotics. And I also want to thank RoKid
and
Now for being here. Thanks, Julian, for joining me here.
Company.
All right.
It's great to be here. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
And thanks to our viewers at home for tuning in with us today. We'll see you next weekend on Crossover. Bye for now.
See you next time.